She adopted them 3 weeks apart, 2 different trips to 2 different rescues, 2 cats who had never met, never shared a space, never had any reason to know the other existed. She brought the gray one home first and thought she was done. Then she saw the orange one's photo online at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night and made a decision she did not fully think through. 3 weeks later, she walked into her kitchen on an ordinary Wednesday morning and found them like this. And she stood in the doorway for a long time before she understood what she was looking at. Their names were Cole and Frank. Cole came first. He was a great, happy 4 years old, surrendered when his previous owner moved into assisted living and could not take him along. The rescue listing described him as independent and selective. The volunteer who processed his intake said he was the most self-possessed cat she had ever handled. Not unfriendly, not difficult, just very clear about what he wanted and completely uninterested in pretending otherwise. Simone Hayward was 38 years old, a physical therapist who had grown up with cats and had been without one for 6 years following a move and a divorce that had rearranged most of her life. She wanted one cat, something calm, something that would be good company without requiring too much. Cole was exactly that. He came home on a Saturday morning. By Sunday evening, he had chosen the left side of the couch, the kitchen chair closest to the window, and Simone's right shoulder as his preferred location when she sat at her desk. He was not demonstrative. He did not purr loudly or knead or chirp. He simply positioned himself near her with the steady reliability of something that had decided she was worth staying close to and was not going to make a production of it. Simone thought she was done. She had one cat, she had a routine, the couch had its occupant and her desk had its companion, and the mornings had a shape to them that felt, for the first time in a long time, like something she had chosen. It was enough. Then she saw Frank. She was on the rescue website to make a donation when the page loaded, and there he was, an orange tabby, 2 years old, listed as high energy and needs an experienced owner, with a photograph of him sitting on top of a kitchen cabinet, looking entirely unbothered about being on top of a kitchen cabinet. She read his listing 3 times. She told herself no. She went to bed. She went back to the website at 11:14. She told herself she was just looking. She submitted the application at 11:41. Frank came home 3 weeks later on a Saturday morning. Simone had a clear introduction plan: separate rooms, scent swapping, gradual exposure, 2 weeks minimum before any direct contact. She had read 3 books on the subject. She had set up the second bedroom with everything Frank would need. Frank's opinion of the plan became apparent on day 2 when Simone opened the door to bring his breakfast, and he walked directly past her, down the hallway, and sat in front of Cole's closed door. He sat there for 40 minutes. Cole sat on the other side. Neither of them made a sound. On day 5, Simone cracked Cole's door open 2 inches. Cole looked at the gap. Frank looked at Cole through the gap. Cole looked at Frank. Then Cole turned around, walked to his spot on the couch, and lay down. Frank pushed the door open with his head, walked to the couch, jumped up, and sat down approximately 14 inches from Cole. Cole looked at him for a long moment. Then Cole looked away. Frank stayed. By day 11, they were sharing the couch without incident. Frank had stopped sitting outside Cole's door because he no longer needed to. Cole was simply there, in whatever room Frank chose to enter, present and unhurried. Simone had run out of reasons to maintain the separation. She opened the door fully on a Sunday morning and stood back. Frank walked directly to Cole and bumped his head against Cole's chin. Cole sat very still for a moment. Then he lifted one paw, placed it briefly on Frank's head, and began grooming Frank's left ear with the focused attention of someone who had just accepted a responsibility and intended to take it seriously. Simone did not cry then. She would cry later, several times. I see you're still here but haven't subscribed yet. That means something to me. Hit that button now. These stories take everything we have. The weeks that followed were an education in contrast. Cole's life had not changed significantly. He still occupied his chosen spots, still followed Simone from room to room at a dignified distance, still slept against her shoulder when she worked. What had changed was that Frank was now always somewhere nearby, a warm orange constant moving through the house at a speed that suggested a different relationship with gravity than other cats. Frank fell off the counter on a Wednesday. He knocked the fruit bowl off the kitchen table on a Friday. He discovered he could open the bathroom cabinet and spent a significant portion of a Tuesday afternoon removing items from it one by one and leaving them in a trail down the hallway. Simone followed the trail and found Frank sitting inside the empty cabinet, looking deeply satisfied. Cole watched all of this from the couch with an expression Simone could only describe as professionally neutral. He was not alarmed, he was not entertained, he simply observed, the way a person observes weather, aware of it, untroubled by it, not particularly invested in changing it. But every night, without fail, when the lights went down and the house went quiet and Frank's energy finally spent itself, he would find Cole. Not the couch, not the cat tree, Cole specifically. He would approach him carefully, almost formally, and press his nose to Cole's forehead. Cole would go still. Then, slowly, he would begin grooming Frank's ears the way he had done that first Sunday morning. Frank would close his eyes. His whole body would settle. Within minutes, he was asleep, tucked against Cole's side, breathing slowly and completely. He was a different cat in those moments, not performing, not managing, just resting completely in the safety of the one creature he had decided was home. Cole had understood this from the beginning. He just hadn't said so. And Frank, for all his noise and motion and kitchen counter ambition, had understood something too, that the one place in the house where none of that was required was the 6 inches of floor directly next to Cole. The morning that made Simone cry happened 6 weeks after the introduction. She came into the kitchen at 7 and found them on the kitchen chair by the window, Cole's chair, claimed since the very first morning. Cole had his chin resting on Frank's head. Frank had his eyes closed. The early light came through the window at an angle that made the orange fur look almost gold. She stood in the doorway for a long time without moving, without making a sound, because she understood she was looking at something that had arranged itself without her. She had not planned this, she had not engineered it, she had just said yes twice, 3 weeks apart, and this was what yes had become. She took a photograph she has never posted anywhere. She keeps it for herself, a record of the morning she understood that the 11 o'clock decision had not been impulsive at all, had been, somehow, exactly correct. Today, Cole is 7 years old. Frank is 5. They still share that kitchen chair when the light is right. Cole still grooms Frank's ears every night with the thoroughness of someone who takes an obligation seriously and has no intention of letting standards slip. Frank still opens cabinets. He has learned 2 new ones since spring. Simone has stopped buying locks. Simone still works at her desk with Cole on her right shoulder. Frank now occupies the left. She did not plan it that way. It just kept happening until it became the only arrangement that made sense. She went to the rescue website to make a donation. She came home with 2 cats who became exactly what the other one needed. She also came home with a photograph she has never once considered deleting. And somewhere in the middle of all of it, she stopped feeling like her life had been rearranged and started feeling like it had finally settled into the right shape. Was it an accident, or did Frank and Cole find exactly who they were supposed to find? And did Simone find them, or did they find her? Tell me what you think in the comments.